This world will one day lose its grip on your body. The dust will reclaim its portion. But the tragedy is not that you die. The tragedy is if you die with your treasure untouched. If your words remain unspoken. If your scroll stays sealed. If your oil never flows. You were not sent to earth to retire. You were sent to reign. You were not created to preserve yourself. You were built to pour out everything. Because those who live for self-preservation always die in regret. But those who live to die empty, they live forever. The world remembers those who left it better than they found it. Heaven crowns those who spent themselves fully. The throne room sings for those who gave everything they carried. And I must ask you now, as eternity listens, will you die full or will you die finished? Jesus said, "It is finished," not "I am finished." There's a difference. He didn't die because of weakness. He died because his assignment was complete. That is your model. That is the standard. Not survival, not safety, but spiritual completion. And let me speak this with fire. To die full is to stand before God with clenched fists, still holding what He sent you to release. To die empty is to collapse into glory with hands wide open, voice hoarse from obedience, soul drained from divine release. The world may bury your body, but it cannot bury your obedience. Legacy is not built by comfort, it is bettered by sacrifice. And eternity does not record intentions, it records actions. Look at Elijah, one man, but he challenged nations. He parted rivers. He raised the dead. He trained the next generation. And when he left with nothing because he gave everything. And Elijah picked up his mantle because mantles are only passed by those who spent them. Let me say this clearly. If you do not release what's in you, you rob the next generation. There is someone who will never rise unless you first do. There is a dream that will stay dormant unless your obedience unlocks it. And there is a cry in the earth waiting for you to respond. You are not just living for you. You are part of a divine relay. And if you drop your baton, someone's destiny goes dark. Dr. Myles Munroe is dead. Yet he lives. Why? Because he died empty. He poured out. He wrote. He spoke. He trained. He planted. He activated. And now, his voice speaks beyond the grave. His books still wake the sleeping. His messages still pierce through apathy. He did not die as a victim. He died as a vessel, fully poured out. Will the same be said of you? Will the grave receive your bones but not your potential? Will generations feed off your obedience like we feed off Paul, Peter, Wigglesworth, Kuhlman, Nee, Hagen, and Osborne? They were not superheroes. They were surrendered. They were consistent. They were empty when they left. The cemetery may be rich now, but we have the power to bankrupt it. Say this now, not softly, but with the thunder of decision. I will die empty. Every message inside me will be spoken. Every gift in me will be refined. Every seed God planted will bear fruit. I refuse to leave this world full. I am the answer to a cry. I am the solution in someone's storm. I am God's strategy for this hour. And I vow I will give it all. You must know this. Death is not your enemy. Wasted life is. And death fears those who walk empty, because it cannot steal what you've already released. Die so empty that when hell hears of your passing, it groans. Die so empty that when heaven receives you, it shouts. Die so empty that your obedience becomes a song generations sing. The fire must not stay in your bones. It must become a legacy, a trail, a torch for those behind you to follow. You are not a placeholder. You are a pace setter. You are not a copy. You are a covenant. You are not forgotten. You are a forerunner. This is not your motivation. It is your commission. Today you graduate from wishful living to eternal obedience, from surviving to surrendering, from consuming to contributing. Lift this final affirmation like a sword and shout it into the heavens. I was born with divine intent. I live with sacred responsibility. I will finish my course. I will keep the faith. I will pour out every drop of heaven's investment. I will not die with a whisper. I will die with a war cry. And when I see my King, I will say, I gave it all. Amen. This is not the end. It's your beginning. Let the cinematic series begin. The grave is trembling. Destiny is stirring. Now go, die empty, and live forever.